There's a signal she's been sending you for weeks. You've seen it. You've felt it. You've been sitting with it, going over it in your head at 2 a.m., trying to talk yourself out of what you already know. And every single time, you convinced yourself you weren't sure. You're sure. You've been sure this whole time. The problem isn't that you can't read her. The problem is that you've been reading her perfectly and then choosing to do nothing with the information. Because doing something means risking something. And risking something means you might actually have to face the fact that you're scared. There's a term for what's happening inside your head right now. I call it the proximity freeze. That specific moment when everything is right there. All the signs are in front of you, and your brain just goes quiet. Not because you don't know what to do, because you do know. And the knowing terrifies you. So instead, you do what feels safe. You wait. You keep orbiting. You like her post. You text something low stakes. You manufacture another excuse to be around her without actually telling her anything real. And the whole time, you're calling it patience. It's not patience, bro. It's avoidance, wearing a suit. Here's what you keep telling yourself. I'll do it next time. Next time we hang out. Next time she texts me first. Next time the moment feels right. And I want you to really hear what you're actually saying. Because you're saying it in the nicest possible way to yourself. You're telling yourself you'll act one day, eventually, when the conditions are perfect and the risk disappears. But the conditions never get perfect. The risk never disappears. And next time just quietly becomes never. And you'll barely even notice the transition. Because you're too busy inventing the next version of the same excuse. The someday illusion is one of the most comfortable lies a man can live inside. But what if she isn't actually interested? What if I'm misreading it? Yeah, you're definitely misreading it. You're definitely the exception. The guy who somehow missed the fact that she texts back within 30 seconds, laughs too hard at things that aren't that funny, finds reasons to touch her arm when she's making a point, and keeps finding new excuses to be in the same room as you. Yeah, you're misreading it. Bro, she is not sending out a bat signal. Women don't do that. They create proximity and warmth and availability. And then they wait to see if you're the kind of man who notices. You noticed. You've just been too scared to admit it. There's a specific voice in your head that's responsible for all of this. It's not logic. It's not caution. It's not wisdom. It's a version of you that has been trained to shrink, to second guess, to make yourself as small and as invisible and as safe as possible. And that part of you has been winning for a long time. Every time you didn't say what you wanted to say, it won. Every time you convinced yourself to wait for a better moment, it won. Every time you turned a genuine feeling into a strategy, it won. And it's going to keep winning until you decide to do something different. That's the demon you're actually fighting. Not her mixed signals, not bad timing, not the situation. Yourself. Let me show you where this goes if you don't fix it. Visualize yourself at 30. Not dramatically single. Not catastrophically alone. Just quietly unfulfilled. The kind of guy who watched 3 different women he actually connected with end up with someone else. Not because those men were better, but because they were bolder. They moved. They spoke. They accepted the risk. And you stayed safe. You stayed comfortable and low risk and unrejectable. And while you were busy protecting your ego, someone else was living the life you wanted. That's not a dramatic future. That's just a very quiet, very ordinary tragedy that happens to millions of men who never gave themselves permission to be wrong. You don't have to be that guy, but you will be if nothing changes. When I was 16, there was a girl in my class. She used to save me a seat every single day, without fail, in a room with 30 other spots. She'd text me about nothing. Good morning messages, random observations about her day, things that had absolutely no purpose except to create contact. And I would sit there, analyzing every single one of those messages. What does this mean? Is she just being nice? She probably does this with everyone anyway. She didn't do it with everyone. I found that out later. Much later. From a mutual friend, 2 years afterward, after she'd already moved on and was with someone else. Someone who just asked her out. I spent 2 years building a case file. He spent 5 seconds being honest. Here's the thing that took me a long time to understand. Reading her is not actually the problem. You're already reading her. You're doing it constantly, almost involuntarily, picking up every single signal. The problem is that you've built a whole complicated story around what you're seeing. All these reasons why the timing isn't right, why the signs probably mean something else, why you should wait just a little longer before doing anything. Stop overcomplicating it. She's not writing you a code. She's telling you, in the clearest language available to her, without actually saying the words out loud, that she's interested. Your only job is to respond honestly. Stop. Put your hand on your stomach. Breathe in slowly until you feel your belly push out. Not your chest, your belly. Do it again. Good. Now I want you to feel where you actually are right now. Not where you're scared you might be. Not where you think you should be. Just here, as you are. You are not broken. You're not unreadable. You're not unlovable. You have been living inside an anxiety that was never actually about her. It was always about you. Your belief in whether you have the right to take up space, to say what you feel, to ask for what you want. You do. You always did. You're not scared of rejection. You're scared that rejection will prove something, that you were never attractive enough, interesting enough, worthy enough, that the thing you suspected about yourself is true. It's not. But you'll never fully believe that until you start moving anyway. Here's the brutal simplification you need to hear. She already likes you, or she doesn't. Nothing you do while standing still changes that. The only variable you actually control is whether you're the man who shows up, or the man who spends another year watching from a safe distance. One of those men gets the girl. Let me tell you something that's going to sound like a contradiction. I want you to take everything from this video, apply it, and then I need you to burn something down a little. Because watching self-improvement content is one of the most dressed-up forms of cowardice ever invented. Not because the content is wrong, but because watching it feels like progress. It feels like you're doing something. You're nodding along, you're planning, you're processing. And the planning is actually a delay tactic. You attract what you are, not what you've watched. And if you've got great information, but no movement, you're not actually better. You're just more well-read and still stuck. I'm not going to tell you to magically stop being scared. You're going to freeze again. You're going to be in a clean, obvious, open moment with her, and you're going to feel the proximity freeze kick in. And you might not move. And that's okay, because this is a skill. And skills are built through repetition, not revelation. You are going to miss signs. You are going to hesitate. You are going to get it wrong sometimes and feel stupid. And that's part of it. I'm not angry at you for where you are right now. I was you. I'm angry at you for where you're going to be if you never start trying. She's not playing hard to get. She already did the part she's supposed to do. She sent the signals. She created the proximity. She made herself available. She gave you every reasonable indication a woman can give a man without literally handing him a signed note. And now she's waiting. Waiting to see if you're the man who actually shows up. Not perfectly, not smoothly, not with the right words or the perfect moment. Just present. Just honest. Just willing to accept that you might be wrong, and that being wrong is infinitely better than spending another month orbiting her from a safe distance. She is not playing hard to get. You are just a coward who hasn't decided to stop being one yet. Today is a good day to make that decision. If this hit the way I think it did, if you felt that tightness in your chest, that recognition, then you're in the right place. Subscribe. We're building men who take up space. Men who say what they mean and accept what comes back.